The family of Mark Duggan have told ITV News that they did not try to intimidate jurors at his inquest. His aunt, Carol, said nothing should be read into an emotional outburst made in the courtroom when the verdict that he was lawfully killed by police was made. She also asked any potential troublemakers to stay away from a vigil being planned in her nephew's honour tomorrow. Raggy Omar went to meet her.
Carol Duggan has been the face of the Duggan family's response to the findings of the inquest into her nephew's death in 2011.
No justice! No peace!
Today she told me that however angry the family were at the decision, they have never intimidated or threatened the jurors.
It was a shock. It was a shock to everybody. The courts were full of all kinds of people from all over. And we cannot control people's behaviour, adults' behaviour, but it was a natural reaction and an emotional reaction to the verdict, which was a shock to everybody. But I did not hear any abuse towards the jury, because as soon as they gave the verdict, they were gone.
So there was no suggestion of any threats towards them or anything like that?
No, I can't understand where this... My family, it's as if Mark has been murdered all over again. We want peace for Mark. Mark was a peaceful man. He's left 6 children. We don't want them damaged. They're already damaged by Mark's death.
You said Mark is a peaceful man, but yet, I mean, even within the family, there's an acknowledgement that, to use the quotation, he was no angel.
Mark was 29 when he died, and he had a minor criminal record dating back to 2000, I think, driving while disqualified. So he didn't have a criminal record as such for any kind of violence or anything like that, because he was not violent.
People describe him as a gangster. What's your reaction?
Well, let's see the evidence, actually, because it's hearsay and gossip. So they see photographs where he's posing. Madonna's done that. Even Adele has done that after singing. So what does that mean? So if Mark does it, that makes him a gangster. We don't feel Mark got justice. So that's why we are going to have the vigil, just a peaceful vigil, to acknowledge to the world that we will not accept this. We cannot control what other people might want to do, but what we are asking is, please, if you are coming with intentions to hijack our family campaign, don't come.
Carol Duggan talking to Raggy Omar. We can speak to Raggy now. Raggy, we heard a snapshot or a section of your conversation this morning with Carol Duggan. What else did she say that struck you?
Well, the most interesting thing actually was the fact that the family are now prepared to talk to the Independent Police Complaints Commission, which has been a real bone of contention between the family and the police, because it was the conduct their family alleges in the wake of Mark Duggan's death that they say began the whole trouble between the family and the police, and that they allege also contributed to some of the aggravation before the riots. And they are prepared to meet them. And I asked the family whether they're prepared to meet the Chief of the Metropolitan Police, Bernard Hogan-Howe, and they said that they weren't ready for that quite yet, but that they're not saying no. So those were the two interesting things. But I think most of all, they had time to take perspective after the emotion of the findings of the inquest and actually consider what their next steps are.
Do you think they can ever navigate their way to an end to this? Do they see that in the short term, medium term, or do you think this is a process that's going to take months, even years?
Well, I think they're looking towards the long term, Steve, and that was what Carol Duggan told to me, that this was a campaign that was going to last a long time, but they don't seem in any mood at this stage to give up. But also, I think the main thing that they're focusing is on the short term, which is this vigil tomorrow. There's a football match taking place just about a mile up the road at White Hart Lane, but they're hoping, as you heard her say, that there's not going to be any troublemakers hijacking their agenda at that vigil for Mark Duggan.
OK, Raggy Omar in Tottenham, thank you very much. Still to come.